why a property plan will make you tens of millions of dollars. Okay, have a think about this. Okay, this goes for any area of your life or any other person that you've seen that's very high performance or a very successful person. Do you think that let's say the Los Angeles Lakers go out there without a plan? Do you think Ted Turner went out there and created his business and didn't have a plan, or Steve Jobs, who went out there and started Apple, went out there and didn't have a plan to start his business? Have a think about that. Of course they had a plan, they had a strategy, they had a goal, and they put that into fruition. They reverse engineered it and said, okay, well, what do I need to do to get to where I need to be? What are the steps? What are the processes? What are the systems I need to implement? And that's what they've done. And when it comes to property, if you haven't met anyone that hasn't had a plan and aren't successful in investing, or maybe that's why they're not successful in investing, only 75% of Australians own one investment property. Okay, you know what the odds are if you own more than three? It's 0.04%. So what are they doing wrong? I think it's pretty simple. They don't understand the game of property. They don't understand the game of finance. They don't have a plan or a strategy. Just going out there and buying whatever. Go buy the property around the corner. Go buy an apartment down the road. But it's not the best strategy. So you need a plan to get you from where you are to where you want to be. And you need to know what type of properties that you need in your portfolio. You need to know your price brackets that you're going to be targeting. You don't want to max out your borrowing capacity. You want to be diligent with the yield you're purchasing with the property. So you're making sure the property is going to cost you a significant amount of money, and it's going to help you with your borrowing power. So these are things that you have to take into consideration. A plan is super important. Without a plan, you're literally just waving a wand in the dark, trying to aim at something that you don't even know what you're aiming at, because you don't know where you're going. Okay, so please, you need to have a plan. Okay, now plan, you can put it on an Excel spreadsheet. You can create a program or get a program that there's heaps out there that will help you and give you clarity about where you are heading. The more sophisticated the plan, the more in depth you're going to be able to understand where you are. So what does the plan actually look like? What do you actually need to take in consideration? Pretty simple. We've got to take in your borrowing capacity. We've got to take in what your interest rate's going to be. You got to factor in the properties, what they're going to be, what they're going to cost you. Okay. Then you got to factor in as well. There's a lot of other things here. We've got to factor in your monthly savings. We've got to factor in your income. We've got to factor in your superannuation. We've got to factor in what you're spending your money on, and if you have to have any other buffers in place in the future. If you've got to put your kids through private education, or you're going on holidays, or if you want to spend your money on other goods and services, maybe cars and things like that. So you need to factor all this in, because property comes into it, because you need to understand what you're spending your money on. You need to know, okay, how much you're saving, and then you need to know where you're going to be in the future and how you're tracking along to hit those goals and targets. Because if you've got a goal as well to go on holidays and buy cars and buy properties as well, if you don't have a plan and you don't have a visual program to help you and show you where you are, it's very, very, very difficult to get there. Okay. So we have a program that does all that. It takes in everything, it takes in consideration of your wages, it takes consideration of your super and everything like that, and it's very sophisticated, so we understand what you are doing and how you're going to achieve it. So hopefully that gives you an understanding, but just keep in mind, you need to always have a plan. You need to have a plan. The best people or the greatest minds on this planet, the most successful people, athletes or entrepreneurs or celebrities, had a plan to do what they were doing. They don't just go out there and just, it's all luck or it's all talent. They put their work into creating a strategy. So hopefully it gives you clarity. Just remember that 75% of Australians own one investment property. And if you've got more than three, it's 0.04% of Australians that own more than three investment properties. And keep in mind, guys, if you own one property or two properties, maybe even three properties, you might be a little bit more be in a better financial position, potentially, depending on how the properties are performing, if they're giving you the equity, if they're giving you the cash flow. But if not, really, you're not going to be financially independent just owning three properties, and you've still got a lot of debt, and they're not yielding very good, and they're not giving you good growth. So, regardless of that number, that 0.04% that own three or more property, they're probably not even going to be financially independent, because they haven't got strategies in place as well. So I challenge you to just learn about this and understand that. Okay, people in every walk of life have a plan. So use a plan, put it to work, put it to fruition. Think big, and actually be very strategic. Reverse engineering. Okay, that's what you need to do. You need to say, this is my goal. Okay, how am I going to get there? What do I need to do? Okay, of course it can look a bit faded and you can't see it because it's far away, but you will get there. Just keep it in your vision, in your mind, and then reverse engineer it. Start slowly, and you'll be surprised if you buy correctly and you have the right strategies for your properties. They will perform quite faster and quicker than what the average growth rates are and the average yields are. Then they'll put you in a better position long term. Okay, thank you once again, and we'll see you at next week's poll.